Oh my God. Oh my God. They've done it. They're the best team in the country. They deserve it. They are actually the best team in the country. It's official. Congratulations to Arsenal Football Club. The champagne belongs to you. You have well deserved this. You have been the best team and you have done it at a canter. From start to finish, you have deserved it. And thank God Chelsea are currently beating Tottenham. Watching this, if Arsenal had won the league and we were losing at home to Tottenham, that would have just been far too much to take. We've got the Chelsea game on here. But ultimately, it is over. Arsenal have done it. The emotion running through the veins of Arsenal fans, it must simply be through the roof. It must be an unrivaled feeling. It must be unmatched for a generation of Arsenal fans. There are so many Arsenal fans that have never known this. It has been over 2 decades since Arsenal were last the greatest team in the country. So there is a generation of Arsenal fans who don't really know what this is like. They don't really know how to react. This is uncharted territory. And Arsenal, you are the best team in the country. Arsenal, you are champions. And do you know what? You deserve it. You have been the best side throughout. And the way that you have built this team, I think Mikel Arteta deserves so much credit. Like we have seen time and time again, haven't we? Arsenal fans, not you, I'm sure. Not Arsenal fans that I know. Not match-going Arsenal fans. Not Arsenal fans that I even know who don't live in the country. But there is a swathe of Arsenal fans, particularly online, who have been incredibly scathing towards Mikel Arteta, incredibly disrespectful towards Mikel Arteta. Some of the language that I've heard used with regard to Mikel Arteta, fans wanting him sacked, some of the worst language that you could possibly imagine. Those fans today must feel incredibly idiotic. Those fans today must feel like they have got it so wrong because Arteta has built this team and he has done it perfectly. It's taken time, it's taken money, but that's what happens when you pledge love and loyalty to a manager. When you decide to back a manager, you back his project, you trust him, and you allow him to sort it out. Just think how many times Arsenal were nearly there. They were constantly finishing runners-up. There were too many draws, there were too many injuries. They were, actually, weak. You know, there was this weakness, wasn't there? There was this vulnerability to Arsenal. There was a lack of a clinical goal scorer. They didn't have enough ruthlessness. And do you remember that banner? That banner that was projected at Anfield. Was that a year ago? Always the bridesmaid. Do you remember when they had Mikel Arteta sort of dressed up like a bridesmaid? Do you remember that? They had Mikel Arteta dressed up like a bridesmaid. I think that off the back of that, he realised that there needed to be this toughening up, this aggression, this tenacious quality. And as such, he filled his team with fighters. He filled his team with gladiators. He filled his team with brutes. And they have won the league. The way that they have done it has been impressive. To have basically gone from start to finish. As the best team in the country. Arteta deserves so much credit. I'll tell you who else deserves a lot of credit. Manchester United fans won't want to hear this. Gabriel Heinze. Gabriel Heinze has done so much good work. Do you know I heard Roy Keane talking about Heinze? He said, I think he called him a nasty, he swore about him in quite a loving way. But he said even in training he was hateful. He was a winner. Having players, former players like that around the camp is always going to help. It's always going to be so perfect. And basically now Arsenal, they can party into the night. 22 long years. But now I can say these words. Arsenal are Premier League champions. You know, I did a video last night where I basically said that Arsenal were title winners. And a lot of people were kind of getting annoyed with me. They were saying it's not over, it's not over yet. There's a long way to go. It was never in doubt. And I know when you're an Arsenal fan, right, you're always going to believe, you're always going to be desperate for it to go your way. You're always going to potentially see the vulnerability to your side. You're always going to see it from the worst case scenario. I don't really have a dog in the fight. Look, I didn't want Arsenal to win the league. You deserved it, but I didn't want you to. You're one of our biggest rivals. You're a relevant club. You matter. Manchester City winning, it doesn't matter to me. Arsenal winning, it matters massively. So I didn't want you to. But it was never in doubt. You were always going to do it. You were always going to get over the line. You were always going to do it because Arteta was never going to allow it to not go your way. Do you know why you won the league? Because David Raya wasn't going to allow it to go another way. Do you know why you won the league? Because Declan Rice wasn't going to allow you to lose it. It really is that simple. You got there. You fought hard, but you got there. And, like I say, you deserved it. 22 years you have waited. And you're now title winners. You know, it's an enormous moment in this kind of modern history of Arsenal. Because Arsenal are, and I've never ever counted this, Arsenal fans can get very annoyed with me over the years. But one thing that they can never ever say is that I don't respect them as a big club. But they can't go 22 years without a title. A club of Arsenal's stature, a club of Arsenal's magnificence cannot go 22 years without a title. When you are one of the most recognisable brands, one of the most distinctive footballing institutions in London, in fact, forget London, in England, in fact, forget England, forget the Premier League, in the world, you can't go 22 years. So this was long overdue. And you know when you think of all of those moments, I was talking about it yesterday. I don't know if you saw my review off the back of Arsenal beating Burnley yesterday, but I was talking about it being up for grabs. It's up for grabs now. The most famous words in Arsenal history, the most famous words, arguably, in title-clinching history. If you talk to any Arsenal fan, all they want to do is hear the words, it's up for grabs now. And you can't use them lightly. You say those words, those 4 words, they really do matter. They really do represent everything that Arsenal are about. If you say it's up for grabs now, it's up there with the spirit of Tony Adams. It's up there with Charlie George lying down on the floor at Wembley Stadium, putting his arms in the air, just lying down. You know those famous celebrations? You ask any Arsenal fan, they will tell you Charlie George lying down at Wembley. They will tell you Michael Thomas at Anfield, it's up for grabs now. They will tell you about those iconic moments. And those words cannot be used lightly. And I used them yesterday. When Arsenal beat Burnley, I came onto this channel and I did my review. And I said, it's up for grabs now. Arsenal fans, some didn't like it. Some did. Some kind of agreed with me that I was right. Some agreed with me that the league was going to go Arsenal's way. But you can't use those words and get it wrong. And I just want to put it out there, I didn't get it wrong. I used those words perfectly correctly. And now Arsenal have done it. They have ended their long wait. I'm not calling them it, but you can. I'll say it for you once and once only. The Arsenal are champions. But you are. And look, the party will go long into the night here. I tell you what, Mikel Arteta deserves so much credit. Imagine North London now. Imagine. In fact, forget that. This is one thing, again, that I've never, ever contested with regard to Arsenal. The volume of fans. You know, if you want to do who's the biggest club in London, I think you can kind of argue Chelsea 2 European Cups, Arsenal not winning a title for 22 years up until now. Right, you can have that argument. Where you sit on it, most people probably know the correct answer. But where you sit on it, you can have the argument. What you can never, ever do, though, is ever say that Chelsea are the biggest club in London with regard to fans. Arsenal fans are everywhere. Arsenal fans, the volume of support, it is unrivaled in the capital. It is far closer to what's going on in the Northwest in terms of just volume. So, you know, just now when I went, I'll tell you what, North London is going to be partying long into the night. This isn't a corner of Gillespie Road. This isn't a corner of the Cali. This isn't like the Barnsbury Estate going to be letting off flares. This is London. It don't matter what pocket of London you live in. You could live on the Cali, you could live on the Holloway Road, you could live Camden. Right, Arsenal territory, right? And you would expect it to be red flares, red flags, everything going mad. And it will be right now. But I guarantee you this. You could go to Wandsworth, full of Arsenal fans. You could go to High Street Kensington. There'll be Arsenal fans celebrating right now. You could go the other side. You could go to Upton Park Station. Guarantee you, Arsenal fans galore. Guarantee it. Go as central as you like. Go deep into the West End. Guarantee you, Arsenal fans all over the place. What's going on in the Roadhouse, Covent Garden now? Guarantee Arsenal fans celebrating. I guarantee you the songs that are playing in any nightclub in London, north, south, east, west, will be that nightmare. North London forever. Why did Arsenal fans, you're going to be watching this, right? Get up there, Chelsea. Get up there. Right, Tottenham can still go down. This season can be rescued. Santos, eh? Good boy. Lovely. But I tell you what, right? Why did Arsenal fans, you can help me, That song that you love, the North London Forever thing, fine. Why'd you stop singing Wonder Are You? Arsenal singing Elvis Presley, Wonder Are You. That was proper, man. Why'd you get rid of that? So much better. But I guarantee you, the Wonder of You, and I guarantee you, North London Forever will be being sung all over London, because that is the scale of Arsenal Football Club. And do you know what? When you think about what they have done, when you think about the meticulous planning of Mikel Arteta, when you think about this constant evolution of his team, the planning, the meticulous, fastidious planning that went into making this team champions. And there was some luck, and we should acknowledge the luck. Did Arsenal ride their luck? Yes. But did Arsenal demonstrate some tactical brilliance? Yes. Did they ride their luck? Did they get away with one here and there? Yeah. But were they the best team in the country? Yes, they were. Tactical brilliance from Arteta existed. Excellent play from Declan Rice, from that back line, from that goalkeeper. Do you know what? I was having an argument today, on air. David Raya is the best goalkeeper in the world. David Raya is the best goalkeeper in the world. Do you know what? I've been making this argument now. Where do you sit on this? Not many people seem to be agreeing with me here, but where do you sit on this? I think that when we talk about Arsenal, when we talk about Arsenal fans, right, most people want to go Declan Rice. Who's the best Arsenal player this year? Who should have won Player of the Year? The immediate answer, Declan Rice. Do you know what other people say? They go Saliba. Do you know what other people say? They go Gabriel. And do you know what I think? I think everyone is missing the tap-in, and the tap-in is the right answer. Declan Rice isn't the best player in the league, and he doesn't deserve to be Arsenal's Player of the Year, in my opinion. Neither does Gabriel. Neither does Saliba. Do you know who does? He has been outrageously brilliant throughout. Outrageously brilliant. And I'm not even the kind of guy that acknowledges keepers. I kind of find it a bit dull, a bit boring. Obviously, Declan Rice is a better footballer than Raya. But I think David Raya is the best keeper in the league. I actually think David Raya is the best keeper in the world. And I actually think that Arsenal's most important player doesn't get the headlines, is goalkeeper. You know how much I love football. If you watch this channel regularly, you know how much I love football. I love the beauty of Zola. I love Diego Maradona. I love Ruud Gullit. You know the kind of footballers I love. David Raya's won them the league. Honestly, more so than anyone else. Rice, absolutely. You give an honourable mention to Declan Rice? No doubt. Saliba, Gabriel was unbelievable. Unbelievable in both boxes. No doubt. But it's David Raya. Can I ask you a massive favour? Would you please click subscribe? If you're new around here, it would be an honour for me. It really does help me out. If you would be kind enough to click subscribe, please consider it. Really, really does help me out. And I see I've got some super chats to get to, so I am going to get to them. I promise you. But I think what we need to do here is talk about what Arsenal have done. Talk about the way that Mikel Arteta has done it. Talk about the team that he has built, the meticulous, clever, insightful way that he has put this team together. It is absolutely brilliant. And I don't want them to win the league. I'm gutted that they have won it. But what you can never do is deny that they are the best team in the country. They've deserved it. You know, if somehow City had got there, it wouldn't have been correct. It wouldn't have been fair. It wouldn't have been just. The best team in the league are Arsenal. And for that, they deserve to win the title. They've had a long wait. They've been through some terrible times as well. You know, like when you think about the Unai Emery era that was just so bad for them. When you think about even the early Arteta era, those constant eighth place finishes and whatever else. So no, it hasn't gone their way. But I tell you what, this year they've blitzed it, haven't they? They've blitzed it. They've deserved it. And do you know what? When you think about what this could signify for Arsenal, so you know how we go one title, first title for 22 years, first title since the Invincibles, first title since this, first title since that. All sounds a bit snide, and I don't want it to sound snide. And I can counter it. It might be the first one, but I tell you what, Mikel Arteta is now a champion. Declan Rice is now a champion. When you are champions, it is important that all of us, me, you, whether you're an Arsenal fan or not, we all must extend a courtesy to Arsenal and to Arteta that perhaps we haven't done before. You earn respect. You earn it. You earn that kind of respect. You earn that kind of lionising. I wouldn't have done it before, and I will do it now. So when people ask me, where do you think this Arsenal team can go? When you look at what's happened to the Premier League, no Mourinho, no Klopp, no Guardiola. The best manager in the league is Mikel Arteta. For the first time ever, Mikel Arteta. So guess what he can do now? He has the opportunity to do something historic. When you think about who's going to win the league next year, is it going to be Carrick at Man United? Maybe, but probably not. Is it going to be Xabi Alonso at Chelsea? Maybe, and I hope so, but probably not. Is it going to be Arne Slot at Liverpool? Certainly doesn't feel like it. Is it going to be Unai Emery at Villa? Not from everything that we've learned. Oh my God. We're talking 22-year wait. Suddenly, Arsenal are on the precipice of a dynasty, aren't they? They're on the precipice of win a league, marry it up with a European Cup final at the very least, then retain a league, and just for context, Arsene Wenger never retained a league. Richarlison has just scored. Mate, this game needs to finish. We need to win this game. As long as we win this game, it's all fine. But just for context, Arsene Wenger, what was I on about? Yeah, Arsene Wenger never retained a league. So there have been many detractors about Mikel Arteta. Many skeptics. I've been one. What I haven't been, though, is like some Arsenal fans, not you, and I'm sure it's an internet thing, a YouTube thing, the hate. You know those kind of creators who do that to Arteta? What are they saying now? He just won a league and you're in a European Cup final. Like, what can they possibly be saying? Wild. But now Mikel Arteta, he's got the team in a European Cup final and he's got the team to the title. Regardless of whether you win, lose or draw against Paris Saint-Germain, it's almost incidental. At the beginning of the season, if I said to you, do you take this? Do you accept a Premier League title? The answer is yes. If I said that you're going to lose 10-0 to Grimsby in the League Cup, you would have taken it. If I said you're going to lose 10-0 to Queen's Park Rangers at Loftus Road in the FA Cup, you would have taken it. If I said you're going to lose 10-0 in the European Cup final to Paris Saint-Germain, you would have taken it if it came with a league title. So it's almost incidental. Don't get me wrong, I'm not belittling it. I'm just saying that in terms of the achievement, Arsenal have already won, right? But what next? Is Arteta a better manager than Carrick? He's a title winner, yes. Is he a better manager than Xabi Alonso? Xabi Alonso hasn't won a title in this country, so yes. Is he a better manager than Unai Emery? I think he's just proved it. Of course he is. Unai Emery had the opportunity to win a league at Arsenal. He didn't. He is now, I've been saying Emery was better. Today has made history. Again, he's better. You could retain a league title. I mean, you know, if you just go really basic, who is likely to retain the league? Who is likely to win the league next year? Just really basic. It's so early for predictions, right? We have no idea what kind of money Chelsea are going to spend. We have no idea what kind of money Carrick's going to spend. We have no idea whether Arne Slot will be the manager next year. We have no idea what's going on at Newcastle, for example. Like, we don't know. The easiest answer, if I push you for an answer now, who wins the league next year, the easiest answer is Arsenal. So we kind of all agree that Arteta's one of the best, if not the best manager in the league. You're then talking about them winning the title again next year. If they do that, for context, this isn't me belittling Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger is a great of the English game. But Arsene Wenger never retained a title. Arsene Wenger got to one European Cup final, same as Mikel Arteta. It feels like Arsenal's story is just starting to be written. It feels like it's just starting to come together. And do you know what? Anyone that persevered with Arteta, anyone that said this is what was going to happen, I tell you what, they deserve so much credit, because the easiest thing to do over the years has been to be very sceptical. And I think the way that he's done it has all been so correct. The way that he's built this team, in terms of the players that he's signed, in terms of the attitude in the transfer market. I think he's just built such a strong team, such a solid team. And he went out and then he was clever. When at one point he was labelled, wasn't he, a B-Tech. He was labelled a B-Tech Pep Guardiola. He's not able to beat Pep Guardiola. He's trying to play Pep Guardiola at his own game. And they did have that season, Arsenal, where they played beautiful football. Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus. Do you remember that link-up early in the season? Bournemouth away, I think. And ultimately, off the back of Christmas, Ben White. Arsenal went to Dubai. Ben White came back with a mad tan and turned into the best player in the league. Do you remember? From January to May, Ben White was just mental. Villa. Unai Emery's Villa won at the Emirates. That was what done it. But that was, 3 years ago now. That team played expansive football. Played beautiful football. Played Pep Guardiola style football. It was a version of tiki-taka, give and go, proper Arsene Wenger would have been proud of Arsenal football, right? That's what it was. And they didn't win. And everybody basically went, you didn't win. You're a B-Tech Pep Guardiola. Can't you even come up with your own way of playing? And then what happened? Then he went out into the transfer market and he made his team more resolute, more full of tenacity, more full of spirit, more aggressive, more horrible, more ugly. But these are positive words. You know, if I call something aggressive and ugly, if I'm talking about a football thing here, it should only have positive connotations. When Chelsea had a midfield of Frank Lampard, Michael Ballack, Michael Essien, John Obi Mikel, ugly but beautiful, ugly but hateful, but brilliant and winning, ultimately winners, right? He went out and he did a bit of that. And then he came up with his own way to combat Pep Guardiola. And yes, there has been a focus on set pieces, but set pieces win games. There is no right and wrong way to win a title. There is no duty of Mikel Arteta to somehow entertain me. I don't support Arsenal. And I could easily do you know what I could do now? It'd be quite funny. I could kind of, I'll adopt that character. You know, that kind of sneery character. I go, they're the most boring team to have ever won the league. They are the worst winners that the Premier League has ever seen. As if that's some sort of victory for me. Like, you know when people talk like that, do they not realise how hollow they sound? Do they not realise how churlish they sound? Do they not realise how foolish they sound? They're the worst winners that we have ever seen. These are even worse than Blackburn Rovers. Like, what are you on about? What are you on about? Well, they didn't entertain me. Pep Guardiola won the league and he scored 106 goals in one season. Carlo Ancelotti won the league and he scored over 100 goals in one season. You're like, yeah. But what was the prize at the end of it? They won the league. You don't need to be entertained. Ask Arsenal fans right now. They're currently standing on bus stops in Covent Garden. They're currently climbing lampposts on the Caledonian Road. The Barnsbury estate is lit up in red flares. Ask them now if they're entertained. Ask them now if they find Mikel Arteta's football boring. There is absolutely nothing wrong with playing effective football. There is absolutely nothing wrong with playing winning football. You, as a football fan, do not have a God-given right to be entertained. Arsenal fans will find winning the league entertaining. They will find their enjoyment from winning the league. And anyone that is adopting that mentality, you know, that character, I think that the Blackburn Rovers team that had Jason Wilcox and Stuart Ripley on the wings with Graham Lasso and Chris Sutton and Mike Newell, they were better players than this Arsenal team. They were a better product than this Arsenal team. You're like, shut up, you pillock. Do you understand how stupid you sound? Arsenal just won the league and they're in a European Cup final. And you're talking about Chris Sutton and Stuart Ripley, you bozo. That's what it is, isn't it? That's what it is. That kind of mentality is so foolish. So foolish. And when you think about what Arteta has done since he took that job, when you think about what Arteta has done since he got into that club, I think it's massive. Like, he has had to change the entire culture. Like, you know, I remember reading about how he changed the culture of the food. Like, I think it was steak. He didn't want steak on the menu before games or something like that. But those things, when you have to, like, change that entire culture of the club, that's what he's done. And ultimately, he's created this sort of camaraderie amongst the fans, this camaraderie amongst the players. Like, I think Arsenal fans will be prepared to admit this. And I think even the most ardent Arsenal fans, the Arsenal fans that know about wearing a yellow ribbon at Wembley and all that, right? I'm sure. There was a time, and again, I'm not saying this in a sneery way, I'm not saying it in a mocking way, but there was a time when Arsenal, the Emirates wasn't always the most raucous stadium. Like, Highbury got called the library for no other reason than it rhymed. Boring, rhymed. I went to Highbury a lot. That's how old I am, right? I went to Highbury a lot. I've seen us win at Highbury. I've seen us win 5-0 at Highbury. Gianluca Vialli, my guy, R.I.P., scoring a hat-trick, right? I remember I was a kid. I went there straight from school. We played them on a night game. Went straight there from school in my dad's cab. Beat them 5-0. I went to Highbury. Highbury was raucous. It was aggressive. That north bank behind the goal that you could see from the street. I think it's Gillespie Road at Arsenal. You can see it from the street. It's amazing. I remember going there. One of my best ever memories in the football stadium ever was there. In fact, two of my best ever memories in a football stadium ever were at Highbury. We beat Wimbledon at Highbury. Chelsea played Wimbledon at Highbury, and Gianfranco Zola scored one of the best goals I've ever seen. And I was in the North Bank for it. So it was a proper stadium, man. It was a proper stadium. And that end was unreal. Then Arsenal moved. That Emirates Stadium wasn't always tribal. It wasn't always like Highbury. It didn't always have that edge that the clock end had. It does now. It does now. They make a racket now. There is a belief there now. There is a genuine colour and passion there now. There is a genuine noise and volume there now. There is a genuine expectation and hope there now. That wasn't always the case there. Like, that wasn't always what it was like. There was a time, I think Arsenal fans will be prepared to admit this, when the Emirates was flat, when they didn't necessarily expect to win, when going to the home games for Arsenal fans was a chore. And that's changed. And why has it changed? Because they haven't won a title there. It's changed because of the culture. It's changed because of the culture that Arsenal now have, that has been set in stone by Mikel Arteta. And it was there for all to see. Do you know when else we saw this? We saw it when Arsenal lost recently at the Etihad. Arsenal, on the business end of the season, went to the Etihad to play their biggest rival, and they got beat. That could, under the normal old Arsenal, right? Arsenal of the last 20 years, that could have signified a capitulation from Arsenal. That could have signified the end of their title race. That could have signified almost the end of the Arteta era, right? You know, if Arsenal hadn't have pulled it back together, if they hadn't have found it from within, if they hadn't fought tooth and nail to get back into the title race despite losing at the Etihad, who knows what that could have meant for Arteta's tenure at Arsenal. But they believed and they kept fighting and they kept hoping. And for that, they deserve so much credit. But that all comes back to Arteta adopting a never say die attitude. Having a set of fans that believe and fight with you to the end. Again, that comes for and from Mikel Arteta. It really is. I can ask you a massive favour. If you are watching this and you are not subscribed, please click subscribe. It would be my honour to welcome you to this community. It really helps me out. Please do click subscribe. Right, I'm going to go to the very top of the Super Chats. Thank you for getting them in. I'm sorry, there's just been so much to talk about. The first one is in, and it's from Big Tom Group Home. It says, Rory, thank you. We won the league because you finally predicted that we wouldn't. Through all the challenges of your predictions, your prediction kept me going. I mean, in fairness, I've been saying you're going to win it for a long time. There was a period at the beginning of the season, the very beginning, I thought Liverpool had it locked down. Off the back of what Arne Slot did last year, and then off the back of what happened over the summer. Do you remember Henry Winter tweeted something along the lines of, Carlsberg don't do transfer windows, but if they do, this was it from Liverpool. So yeah, I thought Liverpool were going to win the league. I thought they were going to retain it. And that is more impressive from Arsenal. The fact that you dethroned that Liverpool team that had the best transfer window in history, apparently. Big, really big. Seamra Punk says, I was sixth the last time Arsenal won the league. Can only just about remember. It feels exactly as good as I imagined it would. I bet. I mean, this is definitely the first time that you can legally have a pint. It's definitely the first time that you can kind of enjoy it as an adult. And you most certainly should. The only reason, I doubt you'll care. But you would have rather done it at Palace, wouldn't you? You'd have rather been playing to win it rather than not playing and you kind of win it because they lost it, I imagine. But, mate, we're splitting heads. I'm going to sound like, you know, the guy that I was doing an impression of. Arsenal are the worst league title winners ever. I could do that now, couldn't I? Well, did you really win it or did City lose it? Joke's on you. I bet you're not having a great night. Yeah, no, congratulations, mate. Oh, someone's talking about Charlie George here. Met Charlie George on a stadium tour as a very young fan. Emotional thinking back to that today. Yeah, mate, I always think, whenever I think of Arsenal, there are certain moments I think Tony Adams, that goal against Everton when Steve Bold put him through. I think Charlie George lying down at Wembley. Just lying down on the floor, man. I always think of that. And then, because of that goal, I always think of She War. I always think of that. Like the old yellow ribbon thing. I always do that. There are certain things, aren't there? David Rocastle, obviously a Chelsea player as well, someone that I loved. But David Rocastle comes into my mind. The goal at Anfield always comes into my mind. The pub, the Herbert Chapman comes into my mind. But you're right. Charlie George in the way that Thierry Henry. I really mean that. Arsenal fans will have to correct me here. I might be going mad. But I honestly think that if you're an Arsenal fan and you're kind of like interested in the history of football, I think obviously Henry is in a different plane. But I feel like it's Henry George. Like, I really do. But yeah, I hope you're saving my seat on the club, Rory. I didn't forget the Champions League final is close. Arsenal are almost. Oh, Hanif. What's happening, Hanif, mate? Congratulations. You've been saying it for a long time. You have been proved correct. You have been proved correct, mate. Excellent work from you. Mike with just a massive, come on, you Gunners. Very hard to argue with that tonight, Mike. Congratulations, mate. The night belongs to you. A True says it wasn't done. It was never done until now. Now, you're wrong. You're wrong. You think it wasn't done because you're an Arsenal fan. You know, watch yesterday's video. I did a video on this channel 24 hours ago. Everything I said was correct. I even said that Bournemouth were going to do you a favour in the video. And look, when it's your team, you can never do that. I get it. You know, like, you always worry. You always think there's a way that it doesn't go your way. There's always a chance. There's always jeopardy. And because you want it so badly, you find it hard. I don't really have a dog in the fight. You were never not going to win the league. Was there ever a chance that Declan Rice wasn't going to let you win the league? Was there ever a chance that Gabriel was going to allow Arsenal to not win the league this year? Do you think David Raya was ever going to allow it? Do you know why Arsenal were going to win the league? Because William Saliba wouldn't allow them to not. Became that. And by the end, it became the fans. There became a genuine belief, an inspiring belief for those Arsenal players. Like, it was just different. Oh, we're going old school. We've been talking about Charlie George, and now we're talking about Arsenal and the wonder of you. Yeah, why don't they do that anymore? Such a good tune. I feel like it kind of ruined the song for me because it's a beautiful song, but I always think of Arsenal. RMC says, wasn't able to watch the game because of work. Been supporting since Olivier Giroud's scorpion kick. Fell in love with the EFL. Now for the Champions League. Yeah, mate. I mean, that's a good thing about getting it done tonight. It means you can play the kids against Palace and really focus on the Champions League. That is absolutely true. Mate, imagine if you win. Oh, my God. Yeah, David Ray is a good shout. But what about... Yeah. You think you can catch me? You got to get up very early in the morning to catch me out, mate. Rory, I am so happy. Congratulations, Arsenal. Thank you for being the best football pundit YouTuber. That's very generous and probably incorrect. Unless that's my mum. My mum definitely thinks that. I don't even think my wife and kids do. You got to fight for your right to party. Mac Brunson, incredibly kind words, mate. I really do appreciate them. In a week when I've been getting a lot of stick as well. I love this community. I love what we're building on YouTube here. I really do, and I appreciate you all for tuning in massively. Click subscribe, by the way. In fact, if you would, that would really help me out. If anyone is watching, let's see. Is anyone new? Click subscribe. 583, 587. Welcome. Welcome to the four of you. Cigar lit. Opened up a bottle of rum from the DR. I was humble all season. I was paranoid. Now I can let loose. Shout out Rory and Boo. Thank you very much to the Big Mood. Amazing from you. Mac Brunson says Kai Havertz has won us the league. I mean, he's played his part. I think if I was making a list of players that have won you the league, I would not put him especially high on that list. I mean, he's below almost anyone. What are you talking about? Don't try and give me that. It's because you know I don't want that to be the case. I mean, it was Trossard's goal, wasn't it? That was the one. Trossard against West Ham is the one. The Odegaard-Trossard link-up. That was the moment that it was done, you know. You know, now the emotion is taken out of it for you Arsenal fans. That's actually where the league was won. I know that you'll be thinking of Burnley, and I know you'll be thinking of even what happened with Man City down at Bournemouth. But ultimately, where it was won is when Martin Odegaard, who deserves an awful lot of credit, you know, when Martin Odegaard took the game at West Ham by the scruff of the neck. That is where the league was won for you. I'm convinced. If that goes a different way, things are very different now. Things are very, very different now. As an Arsenal fan, I still think there is an argument that Alonso is the best manager in the league. An invincible season to dethrone Bayern is a serious accomplishment. Big fan of the channel. That's really kind of you. Ben Harrison, really, really kind of you. And I'll push back on that. You are right. Alonso, amazing what he's done. Mikel Arteta is a Premier League champion. Mikel Arteta dethroned Arne Slot, Liverpool, off the back of the transfer window they had and prevented Pep Guardiola from winning a league in his final season. It's got to be Arteta. You must extend a courtesy to someone who wins a league title. You simply must. You just must. Like, once you have won a league title, there is only one way to be viewed. And that is, like, you know, when people were talking to me about Arne Slot, I'll give you an example here. You know, when people were talking to me about Slot and people were going, oh, mate, he's got to be sacked. And I kind of understand where they're coming from, but I'm like, he won the league. Winning the league is something that we cannot just kind of, you know, if it starts going a little bit wrong for Arteta next year, I'll be saying exactly this. He won the league. He stopped Slot. He stopped Guardiola. He built this team. It's amazing. He's amazing. We've finally done it, Rory. Treble still on. Premier League and Champions League. Tottenham relegation. Rudy Garcia. He drinks sangria. Welcome, Rudy. Thank you very much. Ayumu says, I was one when Arsenal last won the league. Mate. It must be just amazing from you. Ryan the Cock says, listening from Dallas, Texas. Been a supporter for 17 years. Driving home from work with tears in my eye. Mate, I might be going to Dallas. I want to go. England are playing Croatia in Dallas. And I want to go. How long before Arsenal fans say 26:04? No. This team, look, anyone that's been watching this stream for a while will know that I find this kind of chat boring, right? It doesn't matter how good this Arsenal team are in comparison to other champions. It doesn't matter if this Arsenal team are the worst to have ever done it or the best. It doesn't matter. But let me tell you this. Just on an Arsenal conversation, anyone that thinks this Arsenal team are anything close to the... Like, I saw, I think it might have been Ian Wright. Ian Wright put Jurriën Timber over Lauren. That's just mad. I'm sorry, Ian. You know, I love Ian Wright as well. I love Ian Wright. It felt like he was going to sign for Chelsea at one point. But you just can't put him over Lauren. Like, you just can't. I think he put Declan Rice over Gilberto, which feels weird to me as well. There were a few. I think he put Saka over Ljungberg as well. Ljungberg was such a big game player for Arsenal. Absolutely enormous. So again, I don't think so. But look, this is the beauty of football, isn't it? This is the beauty of football. It's this that gets you going. I've seen another super chat here, and it's fair. It's from Pepe Laugh. Gyökeres was the final nail in the coffin. 21 goals. Do you know what you've done? You've made me do this, and I wasn't necessarily going to take us in this direction because obviously today should be nothing other than a glorious day for Arsenal fans and something that we focus on only on the positive for Arsenal. This is the one thing I don't agree with on. I don't agree. I think that Arsenal didn't win 2 league titles because they didn't have a centre-forward. And I don't think that Victor Gyökeres has changed that. I really don't. And I'm sure that you'll be saying to me that he won a league and he might win a European Cup and he might win the double and he might retain it. And I'm sure there's a chance I'm wrong. But I just feel like when I look at Arsenal... look, I've just seen a super chat come in there from Mr. Cray. Reggie or Ronnie? Mr. Cray says, how would you improve this Arsenal team? I think you need a centre-forward. I genuinely do. I don't mean this to sound hateful or whatever, and I don't even want to rain on Arsenal parade. It's not the time to do it. Now is a time where we're all football fans and I can acknowledge the brilliance of this Arsenal team and I can acknowledge the achievement of this Arsenal team. So I'm not going to do this in a deep way. We'll have loads of time for this. But if you ask me the question, how would you improve it? I don't think that Victor Gyökeres has done what you needed him to do. I think he came in to elevate your front line and make it an elite level front line. He was meant to be the most ruthless goal scorer in Europe, and I don't think he's done that. I think the itch that Arsenal tried to scratch when they signed him is still itching. You're the Arsenal fan, so you tell me. I'm almost definitely wrong. So I'm always told. But that would be my take. When I watch Victor Gyökeres, listen, I'm of an age where I know Arsenal when they were good, right? Really good. Do you know how scared I was of Thierry Henry? Do you know how scared I was of Sylvain Wiltord? Do you know how scared I was of Dennis Bergkamp? Do you know how scared I was of Kanu? Do you know how scared I was of Adebayor? This isn't that. It's just not that. I don't feel the fear factor. I don't feel it. And I think if I were to say, how could Arsenal improve? Yeah, I'd say Julian Alvarez, someone like that. That is a world in which Arsenal could potentially improve. By the way, I've got some very, very, very good news for you. Chelsea beating Tottenham. Get up there. Get up there. Big celebrations at Stamford Bridge. Enzo Fernandez, what a goal. Tottenham could still go down, and that's going to go down to the wire, which is massive, massive news. I must say, before I go, huge congratulations to Arsenal. The night belongs to you. Would you please do me a favour before you go? Please like this stream. If you just drop a like on it right now, really does help me out. And if you aren't subscribed, consider clicking subscribe. It would be an honour to welcome you into this community. Arsenal fans, the ones from the Cali, the ones from different continents, the night belongs to you. Begrudgingly, you're the best team in the country. You deserve it. Enjoy yourselves. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'm sure you will. Congratulations. We're coming for you next year. Ta-da.